Main screen turn on. Listen to me
And me.
rant, watch me play a game, or preferably try to do both at the same time. This is Discourse Display. So here we are again, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, with my man, who is also, as it turns out, Davewaveman. Har har! So I have something specific in mind that we're going to record, while talking about a very specific subject. But first things first, we're gonna play as our Miis. Do you want to use your own Mii? Because I know you have your 3DS and Smash with you. Or the same one that we used last time.
Let's just go with the same one that you gave me last time now.
Then let's do it. So, as it turns out, tonight, we are going to... Let's see how we turn this on again. Right. We are going to... No, we just need 4.
Oh, so we're not going to revisit what we did last time?
Nope.
This one too, or do you want...
We need 4
okay.
CPUs. So as it turns out, tonight we are going to Symphony of the Goddesses. And I think you can see why this is going.
Yeah.
4 swords battle. Let's see. Which is...
Let's go stock 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking you always start with 3 hearts in Zelda, so 3 stock should be good.
You are thinking this way too much.
Put this to low, and let's put all off, just hearts. What other Zelda items are there?
And the fairy bottle next to it.
Right. And then of course Smash Balls.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that's
There.
yeah from the series.
And if there is, too bad. So Symphony of the Goddesses is a concert, I guess. With a... Let's put the difficulty to... What do you feel confident in?
Let's just try with 5.
I thought you were gonna say 2. So Symphony of the Goddesses is a concert with a orchestra where they play Zelda music. Let's see, I think these are the only 2 Zelda stages.
Let's go with Temple then. It seems to be more fitting for the 4 swords than the Bridge of Valor.
So it's a live performance of an orchestra playing Zelda music. Personally, let's see, where am I? Oh, there.
Well, they definitely found me to begin with.
I'm pretty excited about it. Have you ever been to anything like that before?
Actually, I've been to Video Games Live Orchestra last year in, I think it was October or November, when they were going to Belgium for the first time. It was actually in Antwerp as well. And that was very pleasant to do and watch actually, because they also projected
Video game footage?
Yeah, they always do that with Video Games Live. I'm not sure if Symphony of the Gods is going to be anything similar, but it was a very neat touch.
We actually forgot to put it on a team battle.
Yeah, okay.
I was wondering why I was able to hit you there.
Well, I'm not sure. Are the CPUs actually going for one another? Or?
I don't know. But yeah, you were saying.
I was saying that when I went to the concert of Video Games Live last year, it was very cool and pleasant, and you meet a lot of cool people there actually. And I'm actually hoping that, yeah, that's not good.
It is for me. What music did they do? From what games?
Well, they played a lot of the classics like Final Fantasy, and but they also played Zelda for a bit.
All right.
I think it was mostly Ocarina of Time music that they played, and Twilight Princess. But they also played other games like Shadow of the Colossus, which was very cool. Halo, Mass Effect, what other things did I see? You know, like a medley from classical chiptunes as well, like, you know, Space Invaders and the likes. And what else? there were a lot of games at Warcraft 2. It was actually impressive how many different games they managed to get together for what was like 2-hour concert only.
Well, I think that's the good thing about doing all kinds of different games. Many choices to go for. I've actually been to something like this as well. That was a bit longer ago. I'm not quite sure what year it was. It was probably somewhere between 2007 and 2009. This was actually whoa, there I go. A Dutch initiative, which was called Games in Concert, and this was actually the 3rd edition. And I had not actually heard of this before, so.
Is it something that they still do, or is it?
I don't think so. I don't think the 3rd edition really did all that well. Still, they had some pretty cool things actually. There was well, I think the main issue I had with it was that they didn't do enough classics. So, for example, they did one of the games that didn't get any reaction. Oh boy. Was let me think. What was the game called? I think it was Haze. I think it's called for the PlayStation 3.
The name vaguely remember. Was that the shooter with the guy with the yellow helmet?
Yeah, exactly. That was the one. And they did a song from that, and apparently nobody actually played the game since there was no reaction whatsoever.
To be fair, I wouldn't be able to recall anything from that game either.
Yeah, so that was basically the problem with it. So.
But was it just that one song? Or
no, no, they did one song from that game, but that was just an example. That was. He got a heart. That was like one of the examples of the lesser-known games that should have been, which spot should have been filled by something else, like something more classic.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
But then there were also some cool things, like they did a Duke Nukem medley, which in itself isn't that awesome, but they actually had the voice actor. The original voice actor speak in some lines that they played during the performance. So that was pretty cool. Oh, nobody fell for it. And then there was actually a classically trained Dutch pianist. He's called Wibi Suryabi, which no one will probably know, but
it doesn't really ring any bells, to be honest.
But he's known for being a Disney fanboy, but apparently is also a fan of Nintendo games. So he's basically a big man-child, and he also did the Zelda opening theme on piano. So that was pretty cool. So I do have some idea of what to expect tonight. And I've actually seen. Oh, we're actually behind with our stock.
I thought you weren't going to try and attack me, but
I never said that. Everything was off when it appeared the team.
I noticed
team
when you killed me a little while ago.
We can always do a team match next. So I do have some expectations for tonight. There's also a lot of rock and metal bands that I've seen live. I've also at some point had an orchestra behind them. So my hopes are high. And Zelda music come on, that fell right into his lap. And Zelda music, of course, is something that's extremely easy to perform in this way. There's a lot of songs that lend themselves really well to a classical format.
Yeah, but also, well, you can also make some rock music with it because it always has the same leitmotif.
True.
Well, I'm just enthusiastic to see what's going to happen tonight. I had a great time last year when I went to Video Games Live, so much that I actually signed up for a similar type of concert with Final Fantasy music in April 2016 in Paris. So, and yeah, and Zelda is one of my, well, The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite game series, so for me this is something that I've been looking forward to for quite a long time actually.
And then, of course, the fun part is that you came all the way to the Netherlands for this concert, and then it appears that tomorrow they're actually doing one in your home country as well.
Yep, in Brussels. It's a bit silly, but it is what it is. To be fair, as much as I like the concept, I probably would not go there on my own. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't really like going out to a city that's pretty far. Well, when you can't take the train back in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Just when there's no one else to accompany you. I mean, as fun as the concept is, and I knew I was going to go to the performance tonight in Amsterdam anyway, so it seemed a bit pointless to go to another concert.
Yeah, exactly.
After. Wow, I actually performed slightly better than I thought I would.
And you were also the only one who wasn't a sword user. Alright, so let's put this to how do we put this to team battle?
Oh.
I think here. Blue team. Let's put the levels up a bit. I thought level 5 was a bit too easy. You changed this color. Blue. Alright, now we have the classic 4 sword colors. To spice it up, let's do Bridge of Eldin. Alright, so this is probably the most important question that I can ask you. What is your favorite Zelda game?
Majora's Mask, easily. With Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening sharing the second position. And I know a lot of people don't really like either Majora's Mask nor Link's Awakening, but for me, well, maybe I'm looking to it at the wrong way, because Link's Awakening was the very first Zelda game that I ever played. But I still like the actual story that's going on in that game. I mean, it's not as grandiose as it is with the other Zelda games, where you're like, yeah, get the Triforce or protect the Triforce or whatever it is. But it has it's much more subtle and more human story, in my opinion, than, well, most of the other Zelda games are. And Majora's Mask, for me personally, that is just such a great game. Mostly also again for its story reason, because, well, you've got your 3 days that you have to save the world in, and it's one of the darkest and most desperate Zelda games that there actually is. I mean, on the other Zelda games, they always present you with, well, with the concept that you are the only one that's actually standing between evil and, well, evil achieving its goal. But in Majora's Mask, it's not so much about you being the hero, it's about a world that is actually suffering, and you are there, you can see it, but you can't actually save everyone, because, well, at least I never managed it, but I don't think you
possible.
I don't think you can save everyone in the 3 days that you are given to save the world. And that's something that it's very subtle, because the game doesn't even recognize that. Well, because in the end everything is fine and dandy, and the game pretends like you save everyone anyway. But for me, the actual player agency you have in that game, where you actually have to choose between, okay, I'm going to go and save the world, but I won't be able to save all its individuals that are living in it, is much more important and much more, well, it gives a bigger feeling of importance to the player than the other Zelda games have achieved in the past, in my opinion.
Well, I have to agree. Both the games you named are also high up on my list. I think Majora's Mask is definitely the most atmospheric of all the Zelda games.
So, what's your favorite then?
Well, at least to put a little bit of perspective on it, I have not played Skyward Sword.
Well, neither have I, so we're on the same page then on that front.
And I've also not played the CGI games, though that probably shouldn't really matter.
Yeah, let's pretend those don't exist. I think we're better off that way.
And also not, let me think, Hyrule Warriors, Spirit Tracks. This was actually pretty easy as well. I did not expect that. Spirit Tracks and the one that was just released now, Triforce Heroes, I think it's called.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that one.
Anyway, so those are the games that I haven't played. It's kind of a mix for me. Like you said, Majora's Mask is most definitely the most atmospheric one out of the bunch. Link's Awakening is one of my first Zelda games, and that one holds a special place in my heart. You've got Ocarina of Time, which is just a fabulous game all around.
Yeah.
But I also really liked Wind Waker, which I think is the most adventurous one. It really feels the most expansive, and I know that the whole sailing thing is something that most people don't really like, probably for a good reason. Surprise phone call. Alright, back. Let's, we were talking about Wind Waker, but let's switch up our footage for now and try to beat the big bad. Okay. On level 9.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's a shame you don't have the Wind Waker stage in this game. The one that's on...
You mean the Spirit Tracks one, or...?
No, I think it was on Brawl, the one on the ship. I think that might have actually been DLC by now. I don't know. Doesn't matter anyway. Any preference?
Not really. Perhaps Temple makes the most sense. Or Final Destination.
Let's go to Final Destination. It's the end boss.
I like how you bring these game archetypes to life, like where you actually give the illusion of choice, but you don't really have a choice. Yeah, you take care of that, and I'll just shoot him from range.
Gee, thanks. Whoops. Well, that wasn't as planned. Anyway, Wind Waker. I know that the whole sailing thing was not really well received, and understandably, I guess. But there were a ton of side quests in the game, which I really liked. A lot of exploration to be done, which I also really liked. And I think, apart from Majora's Mask, Wind Waker was the game where you have the biggest impact on NPCs' lives. Let me grab that heart. So yeah, those are actually the my four favorite Zeldas. To be honest, I never really liked A Link to the Past that much.
It's a good Zelda game if you want to dungeon, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically. And of course, I mean, the original Zelda is a classic, but yeah, that's the game you really need to use a guide for, with the terrible translations.
To be fair, I can still appreciate that game even when I play it nowadays.
True.
It's I think it aged rather well, all things considered. I'll probably grab the bottle in case he gets it later on.
You can throw it off the edge. But yeah, but then for example Twilight Princess I did not like too much.
Well, I don't mind it too much, but it's not the best Zelda game. It's not a bad game, not by any stretch of meaning that. But you know,
I just really didn't like the whole thing where they tried to go for a more Oh, well, that was rather easy, actually. A more realistic Zelda, just because the cartoon graphics from Wind Waker weren't that well received. I actually really like the cel-shaded graphics from Wind Waker. I thought that was one of the strong points.
Well, to be fair, I don't think it was that big an issue. The graphic style worked well for what Twilight Princess was trying to do, and it worked well for what Wind Waker was trying to do. I mean, I remember the first time I actually played Wind Waker on my GameCube back in the day. I had bought it on a Friday, if I recall correctly, and on Saturday morning I would wake up very early on and turn my GameCube on and start playing, and before long I was actually in the fortress, whatever it's called again, where well, the very first dungeon in the game, basically. And there was this little part where you actually have to, I'm not sure what the English word for it is, where you have to push yourself against the wall and crawl over a small ledge. And the expression that Link does when you do that, the camera was turned that way, was very fun to see. I mean, and this was a little while after you get shot onto the fortress while you're sitting in a barrel, basically like a cartoon. And I actually have very fond memories of those scenes, because to me that felt like I was younger again, and I was watching channels like Disney Festival or whatever they were, and it had the same kind of magic that those cartoons had, that I really liked in those scenes. And the aesthetic of Wind Waker, for that reason, to me it's great, but when I initially saw it before I played the game, I also wasn't convinced, because, well, you know how it goes. But, but now that I look back on it, I've been playing Wind Waker HD not too long ago, I think about 2 months. And that's a great experience all over again, and I'm really digging that that cartoon style and feel, while it's at the same time a pretty serious story. And the sailing itself, it's not a bad thing. The thing that I have an issue with is that it's a big and large world, and you have a lot of side activities on those islands, but the world still feels somewhat empty, because there are only like 3 or 4 islands that are of really significant size where you actually do a lot of stuff in. And then about halfway through when you're through the game, there's this part where you have to go and get, I don't know what the items were anymore, but you have to go to like a fire and an ice island. And you can just see that they're the placeholders for what would have been a full-size dungeon. And that's something that I really, even when I see it now, all these years ago, I'm like, yeah, there's so much potential here, but it's just not used. They didn't have time to finish it, or they couldn't finish it.
True. The end game is lackluster. I'll give you that. But I think everything that led up to it was fantastic.
True.
And I think if, like you said, the full potential was actually lived up to, then Wind Waker would have probably been my favorite Zelda game.
I have to agree with you there. Well, it would have easily taken a second place for me. For me, Majora's Mask, it just hits all my buttons on philosophical level as well, which is something that I can't quite put into words, but Wind Waker it's a very good and great game, but it's not as great as it can be, and that's why I also, even now, when I look at it, it's like there's so much potential here, but they didn't go all the way to it. They simply because they couldn't, or because they wouldn't, or they didn't have time, or didn't have money. I don't know what the reason was, but it still stings a bit to see what it could have been, only to not have the full experience of what it deserved to be, if that makes sense. That's probably a very difficult sentence that's not gonna go down well when you upload this video, but
oh boy.
But I think you see the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Like, one example is the Hyrule Castle in-game. When you reach that, and when you reach the end game as well, that's great. That's just absolutely great when you are there. You have the feeling of like, yeah, this is Hyrule, and there's a lot of build up here. There's a lot going to happen. The aesthetics are nice. The references to the previous games are nice. It's that kind of feeling that I wanted to see
expanded on,
or just wanted to see more of in the game. Because when you see those, I mean, like I said, but when I see those 2 dungeons, or those placeholder dungeons, it just fills me with a certain amount of sadness of like, yeah, this could have been so much better.
Indeed.
Not, once again, it's not a bad game, definitely not. It's a great game, but because it could have been greater, it's also one of the bigger disappointments in the Zelda series.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. So I think we're almost through with this video, so just a quick talk. I know you just told me that you had actually seen a bit of the set list of what they're going to play tonight. Regardless, is there anything you were hoping for them to play? Any specific songs or?
Well, I only
games?
saw the acts, so I don't know which songs they're going to play. So I don't have the full track list.
Okay, well, is there any specific particular songs that you'd like to hear there,
I've always been a big fan of the intro music of Wind Waker.
And that was exactly the same one that I was going to say.
But I also like the field theme of Twilight Princess, but there's also one song that I always thought was very neat from Link's Awakening, which was Taltal Heights. And I doubt we're gonna see that because it's probably one of the more obscure songs, but I always thought that was a pretty fun song. It had a certain kind of grandiosity to it,
yeah.
Especially when you're,
I think if they're going to go for that vibe, they'll probably do Gerudo Valley. What's it called?
Gerudo Valley, or Gerudo Valley, whatever.
That one song on an acoustic guitar from Ocarina of Time. Actually, if they do just one Link's Awakening song,
I'm gonna be happy if they do that, but I doubt it's gonna happen.
If they do just one, I hope it's going to be Ballet of the Windfish.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, I would really like to hear Oath to Order from Majora's Mask, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
And well, like you said, my other top 3 pick would be the opening theme from Wind Waker.
I actually had forgotten about that song until I started playing Wind Waker HD again, and I was like, okay, this is a great intro.
Yeah, that's really sets up the mood.
Especially when they combine it with the pictures that they show you, it flows into the story very well. And yeah, so if you don't know what the intro is like, go YouTube it now after you see this video.
I think that would be a great place to leave this.